This video right here is one for my parents. You're definitely going to be able to relate, especially if you have a child in elementary school. And even for those who are not parents, you probably will learn something new and interesting today. We will be discussing communal school supplies. As a parent, how do you feel about it? Um, do you feel like you should share? Do you feel like you should be purchasing school supplies for the classroom to share as a whole throughout the year? Or would you just prefer providing your child individual supplies just for them? And if, like I said, they need more, you restock as the years go. Let me know in the comments below. Let's get into the videos.
I might be an asshole for this, but I don't give a fuck. I'm only buying enough school supplies for my child to use on a day-to-day basis. If he needs more, he can get more when he asks me, but I'm not buying enough school supplies to supply the whole class. I don't believe in community school supplies, and it is what it is. It's not my job to take care of your child, and it's not your job to take care of mine.
I'm kind of stuck in the middle. Like I said before, about an hour ago, I never knew that this was even a phenomenon. But on one hand, I understand, everyone is not on the same economic plane. So, bringing in community supplies helps, students that may not have as much. So I'm definitely for that, and I understand the logic behind it. But then on the other hand, this is how I kind of feel as well. If I had, let's just say I had a baby girl, right? And I'm sending her, she's off the second or third grade, right? I'm gonna want my baby girl to have the best. So I'm gonna get her the best crayons, the best color pencils, the best markers, the best glues, the best notebooks. I'm gonna get the 5-star notebooks. I'm gonna get everything she needs, top quality, because I want her to be able to perform at her best, right? So if we follow along this whole communal school list idea, right? What if I buy my baby girl Crayola crayons, but she winds up getting Rosenart? I'm not gonna lie. If I come to the class one day, you know how you can come in as a parent and do observation, and I see my baby girl writing with Rosenart, even though I know I purchased Crayola, I may want to have a little words with the teacher. That's just my logic. Maybe I'm off. Let me know. I'm thinking about my baby girl. Them wrote the wax on the Rosenart crayons don't write as smooth as the wax compared to the Crayola. I don't want my baby girl to have carpal tunnel at an early age. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Am I off base? Am I tripping? Let me know.
It's confusing. From the comment section, it's really clear there are some misunderstandings between school and home, and I want to try to help clear some things up. My takeaway is that schools, we need to do a better job of explaining to parents what's going to happen to the school supplies that they send in. The misunderstanding happens when you purchase supplies thinking they're going to be individually kept at your child's desk, and instead the school has a practice of gathering up supplies and using them communally. If you knew to expect communal supplies, you might not buy the sparkly special stuff for your child. We don't collect the supplies to give to kids who didn't bring supplies. That's just a happy byproduct of this system. We collect the supplies so that they last the entire year. We're not going to let your child keep those glue sticks in their backpack for 9 months. We're collecting all the glue sticks from the class. So now we have 120 glue sticks. We put them in the cabinet. And the next time we have an activity where we have to glue, we're going to get out one glue stick for every child.
Now, she does make a good point. I do think that should definitely be clarified, like in a letter or email to the parents, letting them know, like, hey, this list of school supplies that we're asking for, these will be shared amongst the classroom throughout the year with all the students. Because again, like I said, that could affect what type of brands that you purchase. Knowing that this is going to be for everyone, you may not go with the top brands. So like I said, instead of going with the 5-star notebooks and folders, you may go with the thin paper ones that you could get at Staples during the back to school sales for 10 or 20 cents a piece. Again, you may, instead of going with the Crayola, you may go with, the Rosenart, or maybe even like a dollar store brand. So I do think it's very important to clarify that. Because like I said, some parents, when it comes to their kids, they go all out for their school supplies and their book bags and all those little things. And, you spend all this money and then your son or daughter um, winds up not even being able to use the school supplies that you thought that you bought for them. That could cause you to be upset.
Okay, now before I get out this car, I want to address this. Listen, when a parent sends their child to school with a pack of pencils, a pack of notebook paper, I don't take those supplies and distribute them to other students. I don't. I tell the child to take out what they need and put the rest in their backpack. Now, things like Kleenex, paper towels, hand sanitizer, those things are shared with the other students in the class. But I don't just take supplies and say, okay, let me pass this out to everybody. I don't do that. I don't know if that's how it works with other teachers, but I don't do that. Now, if it's a situation where a kid doesn't have a pencil and I'm like, hey, does anybody have a pencil for Johnny to borrow? If a kid volunteers to share a pencil, then I mean, why not? They need to learn to share.
True. Like I said, that is an important skill set that children need to learn at a young age. I definitely agree as far as you talk about hand sanitizers and tissues. That definitely should be shared. Like I said, every student doesn't need individual tissue boxes and hand sanitizers at their desks. So yeah, like I said, I agree. She's spot on with that.
For calling me back so late, Mrs. Johnson. I called you 2 days ago. Anyway, Timothy told me he had to share his school supplies in school today. I understand that the kids are encouraged to share, but my child is not encouraged to share with other children. I get up and I go to work every day. So if another family cannot afford their school supplies for their children, that is not my responsibility, okay? I do not want Johnny sharing his school supplies. Do you know how much those marble books are? Those books are expensive. They are not 50 cents. They are $4 each because he has the character on them.
Again, this is clearly a skit, but definitely some truth in it. Again, like I said, I have no problem with sharing supplies with other students. But like I said, as if I was a parent, I would want to be made aware. Because again, like I said, I'm gonna want my son or daughter to have the best. And like I said, I'm going to be expecting them to use the supplies that I brought. Now, if we want, you wanted other parents to donate extra supplies to the classroom, I have no problem with that. But like I said, if I buy Crayola crayons for baby girl, if I go walk into that classroom, I want baby girl to be using those Crayola crayons that I bought for her.
Hey guys, I have seen a lot of videos going around about student supplies and buying certain brands and about how teachers use community supplies. So I wanted to share what I do in my classroom because I do not use community supplies. I let all the kids bring in whatever they're going to bring in, and then what they get is a tub, and in this tub everything that was on the supply list goes in here. And so they get 4 boxes of crowns. So every quarter I will go through and just have them switch a box of crowns at the end of the quarter. If they need a glue stick, then they just go and get it out of their tub. But like if I have a kid that breaks all their pencils because they're just not taking care of pencils, instead of punishing everybody, if that kid runs out of pencils because they weren't taking care of it, I write a note to their family and I'm like, hey, can you send in more pencils? Your child has ruined all of theirs, and I explain what happened. So that is how I do student supplies. And then at the end of the year, instead of keeping these supplies in the classroom, what I actually do is I bag up everything and I send it to families, and then they can use it over the summer, or they can save it for 2nd grade or 1st grade. I teach kindergarten. Now the other thing is I do student supplies instead of community supplies. I don't really care what brand the parents send in. If they want to send in Crayola, great. This child actually did all Walmart brand, and that's just what they're going to use this year. And actually like how everything matches. It looks really nice in there. So that is how I do student supplies. Everybody gets a bin. Whatever they bring goes in there. Whenever they need supplies, they get it out of here. If they run out of something, I will ask their family to send in more. And then again, at the end of the year, I will send home anything left in here will get sent home with that child to save for the next year or use over the summer. One thing I forgot to add, if a student moves away in the middle of the year, which did happen to me a few times last year, I will bag up their supplies and send it with the families. And the families have been really appreciative to not have to rebuy school supplies for their child at their next school.
Again, I want to say shout out to all the teachers, man. Y'all got a lot on y'all plate. Not only y'all got to do lesson plans, y'all got, I know you get graded on any and everything by administrators. Now you got to worry about communal school supplies. Teachers got a lot on their plate. I just want to say shout out to all the teachers out there. But actually, I like this system. Again, like I said, because I'm going to buy my child the best. And like I said, I don't mind buying extra, for other students to share and partake in. But I just want to make sure if I'm buying A1 for my son or daughter, I want to make sure that they are using those items that I purchased. So I do like the fact that every child here has an individual bin. And when they need stuff, they go to their bin and, they get to pull out of that select bin. And then, like I said, if they run low, she gives the parent a call and they're able to replace those items. Again, let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about communal school supplies?
Arguing about it. I just went to go get, the classroom supplies, which were like tissues, Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer, pencils, expo markers, red pens. But I don't feel like it's the parent's responsibility to supply your classroom. And I definitely don't think it's appropriate to assign a grade to students based off of whether or not they've supplied your class with supplies.
If you are a parent and you have an issue with your child's teacher asking for classroom supplies like Clorox wipes, tissues, pencils, dry erase markers, I don't think that you have an issue with your child's teacher. I think you have an issue with your district's priorities. Now, let me be clear. I don't think that purchasing supplies should ever be reflected in the gradebook. That is absolutely not okay. But if you are frustrated when your child's teacher is asking for things that are clearly going to be used for every child in the classroom and you don't understand why your child's teacher is asking for you to provide those things, I want you to ask yourself if you think that it's acceptable for the teacher to have to fund basic health and safety supplies for their classroom. And if your answer is no, then your issue is actually not with the teacher. Your issue is with the school or the district that is not providing those things for your child's classroom. Again, I am in total agreement that it shouldn't be on the parents to provide these supplies, but it also shouldn't be on the teacher. And it would help teachers a lot if parents went to the school board, went to the district, and demanded that these basic classroom supplies be provided for their students. I think a lot of times parents and teachers really should be on the same team, and it's so frustrating to watch parents place the blame on the teacher when it's a systemic issue.
Yeah, that's one thing. Teachers literally get blamed for everything. She's spot on. Like I said, the lady in the beginning talking about something, she doesn't want to provide basic safety and the health supplies for the classroom. She's thinking very short-sighted. Again, because she's going to be mad if she gets a call from the school nurse and her son or daughter has to come home because they caught a cold. Having proper Lysol and hand sanitizers and bleach wipes so you can wipe down and keep germs at a minimum. Why wouldn't you want to contribute to that? Just doesn't make sense. Now, I do agree with her. You should not be receiving a grade depending upon how many supplies you bring in. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Teachers, I know this is going to ruffle some little feathers, but if your student brings rose art crayons, markers, glue, whatever, or they don't bring the taco ron, I don't even know how to say that word, pencils, it's going to be all right. You're going to survive it. It's not that big of a deal. You know what? I buy Amazon basic pencils and they work just fine. I have passed out rose art crayons and they work just fine. And don't sit there and say, well, you're a junior high teacher. This is only my second year in junior high and I've been at this for 20 years. I spent many, many years in the elementary classroom and never once did I lose sleep over the fact that I had rose art crayons in my classroom. It's really not that serious.
No. It is that serious. If I buy Crayola crayons for my baby girl, I want her using Crayola. If I wanted her using Rosenart, I would have purchased Rosenart.
Again, a bit late on the whole communal supply discussion, but as someone who had to do it last year when my son was still in elementary and is now sending him to middle school where they don't do communal supplies, I'm actually more intimidated of not doing communal supplies. I don't know if it's just how great my son's school was at running it, but I never had to refill anything. I mean, the teacher might have sent a message, like in flu and cold season to send more tissues and wipes and stuff, but I never had to buy more crayons, never had to buy more pencils, never had to worry about whether he had the things he needed. And now with him going into middle school, they didn't give us a supply list. I mean, his school is saying that they'll have everything they need, and it sounds like they use Chromebooks a lot more in middle school, but I'm a little intimidated with he's going to have to keep track of his own paper, pens, pencils, that he's going to have to tell me when he needs things for school, that he might lose some of the things that I bought him to use for the rest of the school year. That is a very intimidating thought. And at 11 years old, yeah, he's more mature to handle it, but he hasn't had to do it before, so yeah.
Man, at 11 years old, I think he'd be fine. But one thing kids are good for, though, is telling you at the last damn minute or the night before about something being due. If they need supplies, a field trip, they are notorious for that.
Why don't y'all just homeschool? Please, please. For those of you who can't grasp the benefits of communal supplies in an elementary school classroom, please just homeschool your kids, okay? Because what clearly is showing is you value individualism above all else. You don't value community, and that's fine, but stop sending your kids to a community-funded school. You're sitting here making the point that you don't want to share your kids' art supplies with 20 other kids, regardless of their income levels, their parents' negligence or involvement, level with the kid. Regardless of what those kids' experiences are, you don't want to share your kids' stuff with them. I bet. How many people in your environment, in your community, pay taxes for that school that do not have a kid in it? Please. Humans need other humans. We were meant to live in community. You understand it when you're receiving it. I need you to learn the concept when it's time for you to give. Please and thank you.
Again, I'm all for buying extra supplies for other students who may be less fortunate. I don't have a problem with that at all. But I still believe if I'm buying particular brands or particular things for my son or daughter, that they should be able to utilize those things. Again, like I said, if you want to donate extra so you can have a surplus, you could have, extra crayons and markers and pencils on hand for other students that may be less fortunate, that is not a problem.
It don't bother me that I have to buy extra crayons, pencils, and erasers, folders, notebooks, and stuff like that, because it is kids that their parents can't provide, or they may be in the system, whatever the situation might be. But what I do have a problem with is y'all asking for 4 packs of expo markers. You got one dry erase board and you want the 4-pack. Why do you need 16 dry erase markers from 20 students? Make it make sense. How much writing on the board are you doing? How many vocabulary words do they have? How many math problems are you writing on that damn board? How many science definitions are you writing on the board? How many names did you take? How many check marks are you doing by the damn name? Are you sending some home every day or something? Are you sending a miniature dry erase board home? Why do you need that many markers? I don't care about the other stuff. The kids need what they need, but that's for y'all. I know them sticky notes for you. Them sticky notes ain't for them kids. Them sticky notes is for you. Every time you go in the classroom, the sticky notes be all around the teacher desk, all around the computer, all around everywhere. You don't see a sticky note on your child, nothing.
She talking facts. Them Expo markers is not cheap either. Expo 4-packs, they are not cheap, and sticky notes are not cheap as well. I believe teachers do try to finesse a little bit, get a little extra for themselves. But let me know what you think in the comments. How do you feel about communal supplies? Are you for it or are you against it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.